Morning, cyber friends. This is Mitty Man coming back at you from Walker's Music. We yet another word for the day, Friday morning edition. Thank God. We give God the glory and give Him all the praise for life, health, and strength for as well as it is. We thank Him. We give Him all the honor. He's the one that deserves it, people. Not because I was so good this morning that He touched me. And in other words, the old people used to say, taught me with that finger of love. Eyes flew wide open. Saw another day, one that I've never seen before and one that I would never will see again. In other words, not because our Mitty Man was so good that he woke this morning, but it was God's goodness, God's grace, His love. In other words, like the old song say, love lifted me. In other words, love lifted me out of that bed this morning. And I checked my leg and they were still working. Checked my eyes and as far as I can see, I'm still looking in this camera. We thank God for it because, like I say, it could have been another way. We also give honor to all of the YouTube family, Blog Talk family, and Time Harvest gang. Each one of you, you know exactly who I'm talking about. We thank God for everyone that take part in this end time harvest, people. Because, like I say, it's end time, and we are in the end time. We're in the latter days, no doubt. We are fast approaching what we all know, and to be the culmination of all things. And that was a guy, prophetic teacher that I used to watch all the time. He passed away last year, I believe. His name was Grant Jeffries, and I've been following Grant Jeffries for years. But my favorite teacher, the one that I really learned a lot of the stuff that I try to teach, and I was taught by some great teachers. But one of my favorite, and one of the ones that I was taught by I started this here way back in the early 70s, was Dr. Howard Estep. I know some of you might know of him. If you haven't, just go to the internet and type in Howard Estep. ESTEP, and you'll see whom I'm talking about. And Dr. Bishop Sheen, I have followed those, and among others, but those two are the main ones that I learned up under. And Grant Jeffries, like I said, Grant Jeffries passed away last year. That saddened me very well because, like I said, he was, in my opinion, a great prophetic teacher. As now with our Perry Stone. Perry Stone is also a great prophetic teacher. And some things that, they speak of, and they have studied different books, and they have been and traveled to foreign lands and checked out archaeological sites and stuff like that. And they got the first-hand knowledge of those things, and some of the stuff that's hard to understand sometimes. And you have to really just kind of sit there with an open mind. And not a closed mind, but an open mind, and not one that just suck up anything. But you got to realize that there are some things that you don't know. And I mean, hey, it's a lot of things Mitty Man don't know. But I'm willing to, if someone, just like I say, I really had to go back and apologize to the guy. In other words, I forget the challenge, but that's how come I said, when we can rebuild the world, the guy knows a lot about the Hebrew language and the Greek, and knows a lot about the different things about those meaning of those words and stuff. And so one would be a fool not to listen. You got to be something wrong with your brain if you can't listen to someone that got some knowledge on an area that you do not have, and you'll never grow if you don't consider. That's what I'm saying. That's the word I'm looking for. Consider. And when I took some of the words, and I was checking out, and I thank God for Rebuild the World site, for the channel on YouTube, because this guy has a lot of knowledge about the Greek and the Hebrew. And so if you take, and I hope he don't stop trying to share the knowledge, because if you take what you know, get that and parallel it, and look at the whole thing and study those scriptures very close, and look at the word that he's telling us and showing us what the meaning, the original meaning of those words coming from the Greek and the Hebrew. Like I said, the Bible was written in 3 different languages, in a mixture of 3 languages: Aramaic, Hebrew, and Greek. So guess what? A person that knows Greek and Hebrew, okay, I'm gonna let you put it together. So this is what Mitty Man saying. Mitty Man feels so good today, for the reason it's just good, like I said, you know, to know that you're in the will of God. To know that you're in the will of God. Not that you do everything right. Nah, none of us does that. I mean, I know that might surprise some of us, but I'm gonna knock on your door. No, none of us does everything correctly. None of us. And we all got some area where we flunk. And if we didn't, we wouldn't need Jesus. So I'm just putting a notice out there that we all got areas that we flunk. And so that's how come we need Jesus. In other words, Jesus comes and he's working on this building, y'all. In other words, that song that says there's a leak in this old building. My soul has got to move. One day it's going to move. But until then, Jesus is working on the building. And we are trying to get us ready to come home. Old Robert Blair and them had a song on the Violinaires years ago, said, "Oh, how beautiful it is today just to be alive." Old Shot used to sing that you know, falsetto like voice, and I tell you, I still do. That song is so powerful. It said, "Oh, how beautiful it is today just to be alive." Oh wow! I tell you, it's too early for me to try to sing right now. I won't try. I'll do it later on in the video when I do my music video. Cause I'm gonna do some music stuff today. I definitely will get a chance to do it because, like I said, it's time out for playing around. And you know, I found out that when you're in the will of God, just do the will of God and cut the deck. In other words, just do the will of God. Do what God asks you to do and cut the deck. In other words, Apostle Paul says, "See to it that you mind your own affairs." I can't take care of nobody else's affair. I can't help how other people do, how other people think. That's outside of the scope of my mission. In other words, God didn't give me that call. He told me to take care of Mitty Man and to do what he say do, and then let the rest alone. In other words, we do that, we'll be saved. We'll be saved. And in other words, like I said, if we suffer for being right, that's all right. Let me tell you, people, there's nothing wrong for suffering for the right, but don't suffer as a wrongdoer, as a busybody, as Paul said. Don't do it like that. But if it's suffering for Christ's sake, that's different. But let it be for Christ's sake. And I know for a fact, Mitty Man, I told y'all, I shared it with y'all. I know where I come from. I know where I come. And guess what? It ain't been that long ago. It ain't been that long ago. So that's why I am so conscious of how I treat others, because I know where I was. And guess what? That ain't been that long ago. Just being honest, being real. That had not been that long ago. And you know what? The immediately time when we think we are too high, remember, when you think you're too high, that's when you'll be brought down low. Jesus said, "He that humbles himself will be exalted, but he that exalts his own self shall be made low," will be abased. In other words, I don't want to be abased. Neither do I. In other words, if God exalts you, then you're exalted. No one can do anything about that. But rest assured, people are looking at you up on a fine tooth, up on a microscope, and they're combing you with a fine tooth comb, trying to find just one instance to disqualify you. So in other words, don't let anybody disqualify your walk with God by you showing them and proving to them that you, in other words, do not let that attitude, that's what that Sunday school lesson was about this past week, attitude. Don't let that attitude, that your attitude determines your altitude. Now, Jesus was well spoken of man, God and man. He had favor with God and man. So don't start talking about you don't need nobody. Oh yeah, you gonna need somebody. Keep living. I don't care how much money you got or money that you don't have. I don't care what it is that you think that you got so much of that you're not gonna need somebody. You're gonna need somebody one day. Oh yes, sir. You're gonna need somebody. So in other words, let's not get. In other words, the Bible tells us don't think too much of ourselves than we ought to. That's what the Bible says. In other words, humility is the way. And so deal with each other in love. And we'll go on and let's get. Matter of fact, no one, you not going to get to heaven before me. And I'm not going to get there before you, if we get there at all. Because remember what Peter said, if the righteous scarcely be saved. In other words, the righteous scarcely going to be saved themselves. So where would the unrighteous stand? So what I'm more concerned about making certain the middleman. I got to make certain middleman is right. And then reach out to others. I got to reach out to others to keep them from the fire. That's what it is. We're in danger. We're all in danger of the fire. Let us do that. Let us love one another, and let us get rid of all this backbiting and envy and jealousy and trying to prove this and that wrong. Let's stop all that, people, if we can. We can do it. God can do it in us. He can do it through us. He can do it. But we must be willing. That free will that we got. Oh Lord, sometimes I wish Lord had not given us that, but He did. That free will that we have sometimes keeps us in the most trouble. Think about it. That free will that you have sometimes keep you in the most mess that you find yourself in. It's because of your free will. That's it. Be the man saying this weekend, people, and I'll remind you that, evil is present out there in the world, y'all. Be careful. The life you save, I tell you this every week, may be your own. And the things are escalating. Stuff is happening frequently, very, very more frequently now. Birth pain, just like a woman in labor. Jesus said, "Look up, your redemption, our redemption, draws nigh." Whatever you get into, if God is not in it, come on out of it, people. This is Middleman saying peace. Goodbye.